What is going on, guys? Smooth Racing here, back with a brand new video, and today we'll be talking about when F1 2015 the game will be released. So what do we know then so far about the release date of F1 2015? The game, or whatever it will be called, maybe F1 2015 Live. There's been a bit of speculation of what it will be called. Well, basically, what do we know then? All we do know is that it will be released in the first part of 2015, which is great news to hear. From a massive fan of the Codemasters F1 games. It's been quite frustrating to see them being released in kind of October and September time, when really we've only got 4 or 5 races left in the F1 2014 season. I think we had 3 races left in the F1 2015 calendar when the game was released, and you really don't get the same buzz whether it's start of the season. You get the game and you're watching the races, Australia, Malaysia, Bahrain. You got the whole season ahead of you to kind of recreate those kind of moments. And for example, previous years, you could say be it the in real life, of course, it's like the Italian Grand Prix of 2014, but then you're stuck on the 2013 game with all the out-of-date drivers. You've got Kimi Räikkönen still at Lotus, and it just feels like a really out-of-date game. You don't really have much motivation to play it unless you're online, and it just feels a bit outdated, and not really much worth playing on offline mode anyway. But this year, that's all going to change. Or sorry, next year, for the next game, it will all change. It will be released in the first half of next year, but which month will it be released? That's what a lot of speculation has been going about it. And the first idea that it will be released in March, just before the season starts, or maybe at the actually probably on the weekend of the Australian Grand Prix. This would be quite risky from Codemasters, I think, because they're quite a low budget kind of team at Codemasters. Certainly don't have the money or the resources as the likes of Ubisoft, Activision or EA Sports. So it's going to be very tough for Codemasters to build a game that can be ready in time for the start of the season, especially with not much knowledge at all of the kind of pace of all the cars for the F1 2015 season. Although of course they will have, I think, most of the drivers, and of course they have the live updates. But I wouldn't really like it how if it came out in March, and of course I would pre-order it. You get the game, and then kind of the pacings are all wrong, or they're based off the 2014 season. And for example, Lotus are backmarkers, so in real life they made a massive jump up to the front. I don't think the game would really capture that. It would kind of be a bit outdated because it would take them a long time as well. These live updates, I'm not sure how frequently these updates will occur. Hopefully they'll be kind of once every 2 weeks, maybe once every month, depending on the kind of the changes in the sport. And it would be really nice to see, for example, in Spa this year we saw Lotterer, of course, taking the catering seat, and of course Will Stevens most recently at Abu Dhabi. Wouldn't it be great to see these drivers being implemented into the game, even though they're only for one race? You could drive as Lotterer in a catering. That would be definitely add a bit more to the game, a bit more realistic, of course, because you're not stuck with the same 2 drivers. And in career mode, when you get to Spa, if you are driving in a Caterham, Kobayashi is replaced by Lotterer. That would be great for the game, I think, and just add another element to it, because of course they can't make driver transfers at the moment. But if they were actually realistic, and I wouldn't expect them to, for example, for the F1 2015 game, to put any 2016 changes in, but I would expect them to put any mid-season changes in, if of course they could get the license. And that kind of licensing issue is something that Codemasters talk a lot about. So really the first option then is to release it in March or even February, but I do think that's unrealistic considering their budget and considering what the game will be like. Maybe not the ideal option, although I think a lot of people would like it. Maybe I'd like it. It's kind of on the fence a bit. I really do want a good game. It just all depends what Codemasters can produce. And the second kind of idea, one that I think is probably more likely, still that could still happen. It could be February, March, April time, but I think more realistically it could be coming in May or June. This gives Codemasters a bit more time. Once the season's started, they can kind of look at the pacings. The game will probably be completed around May time, to be released maybe at the end of May or the end of June. I know a lot of people will probably be angry, including myself, if it does release around that time, because that's kind of the exam time. You wouldn't really have much time to play it. But I don't think that's probably going to be playing on their mind too much. But I think June, maybe end of June release time would be maybe more realistic, but we'll have to see. They've clearly gone and mentioned it's going to be in the first half next year, which is great news to hear, because it's really annoying when you have previous games being released in September and October and just a few races left. It's not very good. You kind of lose the whole feel to it, especially when you're playing as Kimi Räikkönen in Lotus still, you know, when he actually moved to Ferrari. Of course, in this case, it would be like playing Fernando Alonso, but of course now he's moved on to possibly McLaren. So hopefully the release date will be, you know, towards the start of the season. I don't really mind as long as it's in the first half and maybe not around the time of exams, but March would be a perfect, you know, month. But just realistically, I think May or June definitely for F1 2015 to release. But anyway, leave your thoughts in the comment section below. I was Racing, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.